Okay, thinking is underway. So first thing I did is I went out and got more samples because if you're surprised by the results, you want to double check your data. So I went out today and collected about another 30 samples from about 15 yards, so 2 samples per yard, and the same results stand up, which is the apivar treated hives are relatively in good shape and the apistan treated hives are in the danger zone. So when I add it all up, I got apivar treated 1,500 approximately, I sampled in total. I calculated all these samples individually, but then so ranging from amateurs ranging from 1 to 5%. But you kind of want to, when you're looking at the really big picture, total up all your samples, bees shaken and mites found. So I shook 1,550 bees, found 28 mites in total for approximately 1.8%. That's just under that 2% that is comfortable. Just to remind you, the splits that were not treated, but probably started with very low mite levels, are just above that at 2.7. Thymovar treated hives, that's part of a larger experiment that's going to be, will feature over the winter. Again, sampled 850 hives, or 850 bees, found 20 mites for 2.3%. I can live with that. And the apistan, which is the predominance of my operation right now, sampled 4,400 bees, found 332 mites for a little over 7.5%. So that's well into the danger zone. So I figure I gambled and lost. I took a chance on that apistan working based on a small number of hives that I tested and found it to be efficacious. I think my reasoning was mistaken because I deliberately tested very high mite level hives early in the fall or late summer that were broodless. The queens had failed, and so they had these high, nice measurable numbers of mites when most of the hives had just all the mites inside the brood. And then came back, 3-5 days later and found the mites had reduced a lot. Might be that is what mites do, is we've done some further sampling since, and we've seen that you come back to those queenless colonies 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, and that mite count is already down quite a bit. I can't believe it happened as quick as 3 days, but it might be a bit of both. Apistan maybe worked a bit and the mites got the heck out. So anyway, I thought, well, I haven't used it in 20 years, let's try it. And it don't work. Or if it works, it doesn't work much. And it might be getting 50% because, if we're looking at sort of, brood, 1 to 2% in the brooded colonies at the end of August, which is kind of what I was looking at. Figure by the time most of the brood hatches out, you can multiply that 10 and that's your number. So if you had 1% on Labor Day weekend, 21 days later when most of the brood is hatched out, you're going to have 10%. If you had 2%, you're going to have 20%. 90% of the bees are in the, mites are in the brood. So, if I figure I was at 1.5% overall, and that would be 15%, and I'm looking at 7%, so maybe it's knocking down some, maybe it's helping, but not enough to give either the hive or myself any degree of safety. So I've picked up 10,000 bucks worth of Thymovar, and which is working. Not great, but I don't want to, pull out Apistan or Amitraz strips and stick in, or pull out fluvalinate strips and stick in Amitraz strips on the same day. That seems to me to be asking for all sorts of trouble. So we're going to go with the Thymovar treatment and then oxalic follow-up. So the next 6 weeks around here are going to be way less clean up and polish, spit and polish the honey house, and way more treating mites in the field than I really had hoped for. That's the way it goes. I guess the lesson for everyone is just because you stick a strip in the hive doesn't mean that your work is done. You've got to follow up and find out if it's working. I feel I can pull this back from the brink, but it'll be through 3 more rounds of those hives. Now the good news is I have about 8 yards that have that Apivar treatment. So they're in the safe zone, but I gotta figure out some new treatment for them next spring. And I might as well treat the untreated splits, which was kind of the plan all along. We got the Thymovar. We'll, as we're going by those sites, we'll stick those in. And we got about 1,000 hives we got to do with 2 rounds of the Thymovar to get the kind of control we're probably looking for. All right. Have fun, everybody. Check your bees. Have a good day.